Okay, we made it back. I'm still having some difficulties, but I made it back. Let me see. But if you the whole thing is, as light beings, are if we're in the environment where this outside force can attack, being that we allow ourselves to be the minority in a group, which I ended up being, you start getting influenced. It's bad enough that the world around us is an influence, but when you're engaged like in that world and you're learning only what you learn from the surface, but you're also learning more as you go. I mean, basically, growing up, majority of my friends started being the girls in the neighborhood, you know. So you don't know that this thing is an entity. So when you're engaging in that and you're around it, you start taking on its ways. You start becoming, you become emotional. You take on the mental, you take on everything. And as a young teenage girl, well, I'd say younger than teenager, but as a young girl, and moved into a different neighborhood than what I was used to. This is what happens to many of us because we done taken on their ways, and we done totally strayed away from our own ways because our own ways weren't defined. It wasn't a strong of a force, you know. So that's where you get people, majority of our famous people, welcome back, Monique. Yeah, majority of our people who are wealthy, you don't see very many of us up there. So they are a minority in a majority of the overwhelming force. So that is outside themselves. So that in itself is more of pulling you away from self and making you relate more to the outside forces. So that's where you get things like what we see happening now with a lot of our what we call quote unquote coons and females who, I put them all in that category. Um, that's what we're seeing, them get a wake up call because they don't understand the force outside themselves as they thought they understood it. But I learned earlier on, hey, welcome back, True Royal. But I had learned way earlier on, and thank goodness I did experience this because it took me on a journey of observation, you know, and I observed and learned a lot, you know. But I come from such a strong family background that, even though I saw some of my family, you know, have that thought of, you know, Caucasian might be better, and some of them still have taken on that. I'm sure they learned through their journey as well that that's far from the truth. that's anything far from the truth, you know. So that's where we're at as a people. We're all over the place because intuition and spirituality is something that is um, not understood and not utilized. We don't have a strong community where we deal in our ancient spirituality, because the whole place, this whole society has pretty much wiped that from us, you know. So some of our people are there, and then some of our people, half of our people are just totally just out there lost, totally lost, don't know thyself, don't know to go within to deal with their struggles and theirs, because we don't have to suffer. This life is what you make it, and we don't have to suffer. I really feel that. That's what made me go into my spirituality, is because I recognized that it was a dominant force more so over me, and versus the outside wasn't influencing me as much as my inside was influencing me. And I always felt very, very fortunate for that. But don't think that I'm saying that I paid attention to it. I didn't. I had my issues where I was fighting, and in my mind I really thought that this dominance, that the outside of me was right, more right, and it was more it for me, and I wanted to make it work. But I had to stop, analyze it, and I was like, there has to be something else, because there's got to be something. And so I analyzed it, and I realized that it was something deep inside of me that's been guiding me all along. And I'm thinking that this thing is outside of myself, but it's not outside of myself. It's all within myself that is doing this good deed. It's not the God I thought it was in the sky. You know, no, it wasn't that. It was something within me that was doing this. And I knew that I had these things, good vibes around me. Ancestral spirits is what I call them. That, you know, when I was going through my struggles and stuff like that, it was always something there, you know. The signs are there for us to wake up. Yeah, the signs are there for us to wake up and recognize that a lot of our people where they're at, you know, through my experience, you know, I understand this lost guy here, Neil deGrasse. Through my experience, I understand this lost female. But what I don't understand is them dragging other people into a low level. I don't understand that. The same with him. I don't understand his talking points. You know, I would never understand the things he was saying to harm our family and not to help. He never lifted a finger to help our family. And nor has she. Her help is to make people look like this, like her boyfriend, like her husband, and like his sisters, you know. But it's not to incite within our own people love, self-love. Yeah, coonery, self-hate in full effect. You're right, Monique. Self-hate in full effect. And this is why, you know, this is why things like this can happen. You see? And society will accept that. the same way our society will accept him because of what they see on the surface. They think he's a very intelligent, educated, first black, or whatever they want to say. And that's the first thing they would see is the surface. But this man can harm you. This girl is harming people. This is danger for these two children. You see? But no one wants to listen to the intuition. That's not the popular thing. Your inner self telling you, guiding you every place you need to go in life before you get to the front door and allow trouble in. You know what I'm saying? Before we get to the front door, allowing trouble in, the intuition is letting us know, for one thing, you can either go to the door or you can do something else. That's your path choice. If you feel something about going to the door, you feel like there's danger out there, then you don't have to go there. You can go to where you feel it's more better. That's the choices that we have. But the programming, we allow the programming to be so thick outside of ourselves that, and like I did, I allowed myself to be under a majority of the force. But it was all, like always, I would always tell myself, this is an experience, this is an experiment. I'm always learning something. But I realized, I also felt that if I didn't stop, then I could very well ended up in the wrong hands and in danger. So no one outside of me said that, but I knew. And so it did happen. Danger did happen to me because the crowd I was running around with wasn't a good crowd to run around with. But of course, that was a mixture of different people I had, but they were still influenced by the majority, I would say. But it was like some black guy who was kind of like, a little bit on the feminine side of it. And then a female friend who was Japanese and white, and she was a little bit on the lesbian side. And then it was a friend of mine's, a black girl, who got pregnant by a white guy who, her and him were there, and she was pregnant, and they all ganged me and dared me to fight her. All the people I thought were my friends ganged me and dared me to hit her. And they were, but luckily, I've always gotten away from being mobbed. I've always gotten away from the mob, the angry mob of young children, So I always... Okay, Monique, good night. Maybe you'd see the playback. But I've always been fortunate enough to flee away from being in a dangerous situation. So that told me right there that I definitely had something protecting over me. And I think it's just highly important. I just want to home in on the whole picture of going inside self and the importance of it, so that we're not trying to harm ourselves and others, but we are being productive, and empowering self, because we're taking our power back when you listen to what is right for you. And like the Sentinelese people, they know what's right for them because they listen to their intuitions. I see it on their faces. I hate the fact they're even getting videoed, but they know because they listen to the spirituality within themselves. You know, no man can come and bring them Jesus or Christ. They don't even know nothing about those things. You know, all they know is their inner selves. You know, that's what they deal with. You know, because as melanin beings, that's what we were equipped, and that's our capabilities. That's a strong ability that we need to utilize more versus listening to the distraction of the book of the Bible or anything else, because we've been told that you can't trust self, that self is dirty, but you look at all the things outside yourself and you recognize that everything outside yourself is a lie or some kind of, it's just a deception. It's not real. It's just frightening. It's doing all kinds of hard things are happening outside of ourselves, you know. So intuition is very, very, very important to recognize and listen to, because we have so much evil outside of us that is waiting for us to fall into the, let me see. Oh, I took it down. Didn't I take it down? Let me see. To fall into, let me go to YouTube. Mm-hmm. Hope I spelled it right. It's like I got to, okay, fall into the trap of the TV. See? I wish I didn't have that on it. Let me see if I can find. Nope, they won't even let me fix it. But we fall into the light, false light, and I won't hold y'all too long, but that's what I wanted to pretty much focus on, is how a lot of our people we're like all over the place as a group of people, because we don't realize we have a special ability that no one else on the planet has. We're unique people as a whole, and we've been cut off from really knowing that about ourselves, about knowing that there is a way out from the occult, I call it. Because that's what the whole thing is, to cover up our hidden culture, our who we are, and our powers, to not allow us to utilize our powers. Yeah, always trying to dumb us down or keep us at their level. Because if we're at their level, then it's it's easy to attack. But I won't hold y'all too long because I am ready to go to bed myself. But just remember, family, that it's very highly important that we use this tool of going within, because it's our higher sense. It's our guide. It's what is going to save us. It's ourself, you know. And to help others. It's what's going to help others. Instead of going out here selling skin bleaching cream, we made decisions to help others, not to harm people further or send them down the low level frequencies, of death. But we chose to help our people. Help our people. So with that said, family, let me see how many people are on here. Okay. Good night, Monique Hill. Thank you. And Melanated Son of Ra, thank you. True Royal Family, thank you. Christine Williams, thank you. Trust Self, thank you, family. And CH38, thank you. Melanated Son of Ra. I think it was some other people on the other one. Let me see. I want to thank everybody for showing up. Haru, Apocalypse, CH38. Yeah, thank you all for showing up. And next time, tune in for next time's edification and encouragement, because we need it out here. We need to understand what our awarenesses are. What, because out here, some people, you see Nature Boy in them, I don't know what they have in the environment, but it's not helping him come out of his struggles or his trauma he endured. But so he's not listening to inner self. He has been more like China Black and causing harm for the people around him, So there, I usually have a lot that I need to say, but I think that's pretty much it, family, for the night. But it is very, very, very important for us as a people, as a whole, if we're going to want to be a community and want to be, you see, for one thing, we have to heal and get our way of life back, our way of state of being back. And part of that is our spirituality, and throwing away the false stuff we've been given. I was just looking because there's a 7.0. At first it was a 7.2 in this area. I don't know where Tending, New Caledonia, I don't know where that's at, but they just had a 7.0, and earlier they had a 7.2. So it's a lot going on. But those things is important. It's very, very critical for us to deconstruct this world that was built around us and rebuild our own. With that said, true love, real peace, and the higher self within the soul. Have great dreams, family. Till next time.